Throughout much of history, family business was a redundant term. Nearly all commercial activity was done through families. Today, despite massive change in the global marketplace, families continue to play a major role in the economy. Family firms have many different faces. They're the rural subsistence farmer of Peru, and they are the largest brands in the world. Family firms come in all shapes and sizes, and what starts as a 5-stool root beer stand may grow into one of the largest hotel chains in the world. Would you have guessed that family firms are the dominant form of organization worldwide? Let's take a few minutes to really grasp the role of family business in the global economy. We can look at total GDP and the percentage of GDP accounted for by family firms. Now imagine each of these spheres the size relative to the population of a continent. And let's see how much of each continent's GDP is created by family businesses. Taking a closer look by country, we see that family firms are key economic drivers all over the world. Family firms represent a significant part of the GDP in relatively small economies, such as Ecuador, Belgium, and Malaysia. And they make similar contributions in the largest of economies, such as South Korea, Brazil, and the United States. Family firms also advance GDPs by fostering new business. Many people think that venture capital drives new business, but actually, they fund less than 1% of them. It is families that are the first and most common source of financing. Up to 85% of firms start with some level of family backing. Family firms also create value by providing jobs. Family firms employ 70% of the private workforce in Argentina and 57% in Germany. In India, family firms employ 79% of the private sector. That's over 129 million jobs. There are more people employed by family business in India than there are people living in all of Mexico. We know that family firms play a big role in economies today, but will that always be the case? The future is not so clear. Did you know that the retirement of baby boomer business owners will bring about the largest turnover of economic control in history? In Canada alone, an estimated $1.9 trillion in business assets will change hands, affecting some 3.5 million jobs and 27% of GDP. In the midst of this sensitive wealth transition, there are even larger factors at work. Looking forward to the next 25 years, it is clear family firms are going to face new realities that challenge even their strongest features. For example, family firms tend to use a long-term perspective and don't focus on short-term rewards. But rapid technological advances are shortening product life cycles, challenging long-term plans. Family firms tend to offer more security and have been shown to be less likely to lay off employees in tough times. But job stability doesn't have the appeal it once did. Today's workforce is mobile and not necessarily looking to settle down. The relationships and values of families have always been a great strength. But nuclear families are no longer the norm, and as family structures become more complex, more family firms will likely be sold off than passed on. Family businesses face drastic global changes, such as environmental degradation, growing economic inequality, and geopolitical volatility. In the midst of these issues, families' conservative tendencies and commitments to the past threaten to constrain their ability to adapt. Family firms have choices. They can be complicit in these problems, or they can lead the way. Family firms need to prepare a next generation of change agents. They have to consider that they are passing on more than just a business. Businesses come and go. Entire industries have life cycles that end in death. For family firms to live on and thrive, they need to shift from just thinking about maintaining the business entity to building enterprising families. Enterprising families take entrepreneurship beyond the confines of an original business and into a world of new opportunities. Enterprising families are committed to the longevity of the family, not just the business. They cultivate the entrepreneurial spirit in the next generation and pass on values and a sense of responsibility. Enterprising families use family resources for entrepreneurship, spawning new organizations, and they use innovation as a tool to address societal ills on a grassroots level. Looking back 25 years ago, the changes have been extreme. Car phones were more common than cell phones, and the internet as we know it and its vast economy did not exist. Life expectancy for the largest firms has decreased from 75 years to 15 years. At the current churn rate, in 25 years, More than 75% of the S&P 500 will be replaced by new firms. By 2040, there are projected to be over 9 billion people on Earth, but with wealth concentrated to fewer and fewer hands. Other changes are so radical that they cannot even be imagined. What we can imagine, though, is that with an enterprising approach, family firms can confidently lead the way.